Yesterday morning, I read the book The Little Prince, originally Le Petit Prince, by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry in 1943. I believe it's become the most translated book in the world besides religious texts, and it's a philosophical tale about a little blonde boy who leaves his planet to go explore the galaxy, and each planet that he visits is inhabited by a single person with somewhat of a bizarre profession. Now, it's an amazing tale about love and friendship and loss and loneliness and the meaning of life and kind of everything in between. Now, it's an absolutely adorable story and it's fairly short. It's only around 150 pages. So I definitely recommend you to set aside some time to dive into the bizarre yet beautiful world of The Little Prince. Now, whenever I finish reading a book, I like to set it aside for some time and kind of reflect on it, and then I like to go back and write down some of my thoughts and my feelings. And today I thought, why not share some of what I wrote with you all? So I ended up writing about 1 or 2 pages of my personal thoughts, and then I picked out 4 or 5 quotes that I think kind of goes with it. So I will start by reading the quotes and then the thoughts that I had. Now here is the first quote from the book. "People where you live," the little prince said, "grow 5,000 roses in one garden, yet they don't find what they're looking for." "They don't find it," I answered. "And yet what they're looking for could be found in a single rose, or a little water." "Of course," I answered. And the little prince added, "But eyes are blind. You have to look with the heart." And here's what I wrote. Something I always tell myself, and that I try to tell others, is that you create the meaning of things. A flower can be either just a flower, or it can be your entire world. A person can be a stranger, or a best friend. The same goes with situations. A lunch with friends can be either the most boring thing, or it can be fun and meaningful, all depending on how you choose to see it. There is a reason why people become miserable and greedy, and why it's so dangerous. It can essentially be an addiction. We want more and more, and we become collectors without appreciating the value of what we have collected. Because we don't stop and look. We're too busy collecting. We need to stop more. Now here's a second quote from the book that I chose. "Grown-ups love figures. When you tell them you've made a new friend, they never ask you any questions about essential matters. They never say to you, what does his voice sound like? What games does he love best? Does he collect butterflies? Instead, they demand, how old is he? How much does he weigh? How much money does his father make? Only from these figures do they think they have learned anything about him." And here's what I wrote. This really spoke to me. I was talking about this with a friend of mine not too long ago, and I said something like, define people by what they would write in their diary, not by the information that can be found in their passport or their resume. If the information can be found there, it's not interesting. Even if it's impressive on paper, it's not where you've been or what you've done that's interesting. Rather what you've learned, what you felt, what you feared, what you overcame, and what made you laugh when you were at that place and when you were doing that specific thing. Here is a third quote from the book. "You're beautiful, but you're empty. One couldn't die for you. Of course, an ordinary passerby could think my rose looked just like you. But my rose, all on her own, is more important than all of you together, since she's the one I watered, since she's the one I put under glass, since she's the one I sheltered behind the screen, since she's the one for whom I killed the caterpillars, except the 2 or 3 butterflies, since she's the one I listened to when she complained, or when she boasted, or even sometimes when she said nothing at all, since she is my rose." Now here's where I wrote. Talk about what you love. There are few things as beautiful as hearing people speak about what they love, whether it be a person, a hobby, or their favorite tea. Speak of it, and don't be afraid to speak of it loudly and with passion. Love is never ridiculous, nor is expressing it. In the tale, they speak of a rose, but the rose can be anything you want it to be. It can be yourself, your job, a parent, a loved one, or a passion. And here is another quote from the book. It is the time you have wasted for your rose that makes your rose so important. And here's what I wrote. Time is currency, yet we often fail to actually understand how we're spending it. Why do we do the things we do? A lot of it doesn't even make sense to us, and we don't seem to care for it to make sense. We just want things and do things because we think it's right and because we think it's good. We want too much money, success, fame, romance, yet we don't actually know why and what it's for. Is it because we think it'll give us happiness? Do we even want happiness? What does happiness even mean? Now here is the final quote that I chose. I didn't write anything about it. I just really want to read this quote to y'all. It's just so beautiful. Here it goes. Well, I must endure the presence of a few caterpillars if I wish to become acquainted with the butterflies. And I just wrote patience and trust. The thoughts that I've written are completely raw. It's straight from me sitting on my bed, just reflecting and writing on the thoughts that I had post reading this book. So yeah, what are your thoughts? And what does happiness even mean? What does it mean to you? I think it's a word we're all chasing, or a word, it's an emotion, I guess, we're all chasing, yet we don't really know what it means. Like, if you would define happiness in one sentence, what would you even say? It's very interesting. Please share. Please tell me what happiness means to you. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in my next one.